On page 48, we'll now start learning about the different space notes in both the bass and the treble clefs. I'm just going to again go over different concepts that you can consider in identifying what the notes are and how to find them on the piano. Let's go ahead and start with the bass clef. This first space here that they want us to know is an A. So how do we know that it's an A? Because it's a bass clef, the very first line is a G. And we can know that because this is a G, then the very next space note would be an A. Or we could use our phrases. The phrases for the bass clef in the spaces is all cows eat grass. So they want us to identify these notes and write them down, and you can do that easily with the phrase that I just gave of all cows eat grass. And then for this very top space note, if we know that this is a G, then the very next line would be A, which would make this next space note a B. So go ahead and identify those, write the names of those notes down, and then I'm just going to go over again how we can know where these space notes are located on the keyboard. Let's go ahead and start here with this B. Now they do not have middle C written here in this staff because they're focusing on the space notes and middle C is on a line. But I just, sometimes if it helps writing it in, go ahead and do that because I usually use middle C as a reference point if you haven't noticed that by now. So if middle C is here, then we're going to know that this B is directly below middle C. It's going to be the very next key below middle C. And so then you'll know that if this is middle C, then here is the B that they're asking us to play when you see this B above the bass clef. And then going down here to the all cows eat grass to our G, we know that this is the first G below middle C. And so again, use middle C and work your way backwards. C, B, A, and then here's the G that they want us to play when you see this note in this space. And then all cows eat grass. We know that this is the E. Now you want to double check and make sure that this is this the first E or is it the second E below middle C? So we can go E, F, G, A, B, C. So yes, it is the first E below middle C. And you can decide how you want to find it on the piano. Do you want to work your way backwards from middle C? C, B, A, G, F, E. Or do you want to use it where if you know that this is the first E below middle C, you can identify middle C, the next C down, and then work your way up from there to find the E, C, D, E. Some of these seem a little lengthy, but again, whatever works the best for you, please use that. A lot of times people get a little overwhelmed thinking backwards, and so that's why I'm recommending if you find the next C below middle C and then working your way up, that might be helpful. But again, do what's best for you. Here we have all cows eat grass, so this is going to be the C. It is the first C below middle C. So this one should be quite easy for you to identify if you're very comfortable with where your C's are on the piano. So here's middle C, and then it will be the next C below that on the piano where the two black keys are and the first white key to the left of them. And then finally, our low A in the bass clef. That will be the second A below middle C, and we can confirm that by, again, drawing in your middle C, and you can physically draw it in or just mentally understand where it is. We know that all cows eat grass. If this is a G, then this next line is an A. So we do know that this is indeed the second A below middle C, A, and then our low A. So you can find your middle C, work your way backwards, C, B. Here's our first A below middle C. Understand its placement is the second white key in the group of three black keys, and then you go down and find the very next white key that is in that same placement. Now looking at the treble clef, the spaces in the treble clef spell the word face. So here we have our F, A, C, E. And then in order to determine what this note is here, you can work your way backwards. If you know that this is an F because it's the first space in the treble clef, then you'll know that the line directly below that F is an E, and then the very next note below that, the space note, is then a D. This D is the very first note that's above middle C. So this placement hopefully is familiar and comfortable for you to find. So we'll have this note D is going to be this D on the piano, just above middle C. Then we go to our next space note, being the F. It is the first F above middle C. So again, just work your way up from middle C, D, E, F. And that is this first white key before the 3 black notes. And our A, because it's F, A, C, E, we have our A. It is the first A above middle C. And so again, work your way up. Middle C, D, E, F, G, and then we start over again with our A. And then here is our C. It is the first C above middle C. So we know it's going to be here on the piano because this is the first C with the 2 black keys just to the left of those above that middle C. And then finally our E. It is not the first E above middle C. It is the second because again we have here our middle C, and we know that the very first line of the treble clef is E. And so you'll find middle C, D, E. It is the white key to the right of our 2 black keys. So then you'll go and find the next white key that has that same placement of being to the right of the 2 black keys. Go ahead and pull out the recommended note, the flashcards that they want you to study so you can get very familiar with what these notes are and where their placement is on the piano. Once you feel comfortable in identifying all of these notes and understanding where they are on the piano, then go ahead to page 49 and practice these exercises. I'm going to again go through where your hand placement is going to be because it is different for each song, and I want to make sure you feel comfortable knowing where your hand is so you can know and move forward confidently that you're playing the correct notes. So here in the bass clef, our left hand's going to start. In the spaces in the bass clef, we use the phrase all cows eat grass. This is a G. It is the first G below middle C. So work your way backwards from C, B, A to the G and put your 3rd finger on that in the left hand. Here, because this is the first note below the treble clef staff, we know that this first line is an E. If this is an E, then the note directly below it is a D, and they're going to want your first finger to be placed there. This exercise is only one line. It doesn't go on to this next one, and so your finger placement only applies to this first line. Then your hands will shift. Here, the bass clef is going to be starting again, and in our spaces, it's all cows eat grass. This is the first C below middle C. So go ahead and put your 5th finger on that C below middle C. Let's see what the right hand in the treble clef is going to be playing. Our space notes in the treble clef spell out face, F, A, C, E. So you're going to put your first finger on the F, on the first F above middle C. So work your way up from middle C, D, E, F. And then this exercise continues on for 2 lines.